Welcome to a new series called Dismantling the Pretendians and Culture Vultures. So subscribe if you want to see these Pretendians and culture vultures exposed. Tariq Nasheed, who coined the term foundational Black Americans, is notorious at creating revisionist history and twisting his sources to fit FBA's ancient Black American narrative. This is just Tariq Nasheed's ploy to distance himself and his followers from their sub-Saharan African roots. Tariq Nasheed and his FBA followers are just a fringe minority in the Black American community and don't rep most Black Americans. It's obvious that much of these FBA suffer from a Eurocentric-induced self-hatred. Much of these FBA also suffer from a massive inferiority complex and a wicked identity crisis, which is so obvious. Furthermore, Tariq Nasheed has an insidious history of hating on the natives, calling the natives a $5 Indian, as if the natives are the frauds and Black Americans are the real first Americans. Tariq Nasheed is on record, creating a false narrative of Walter Plecker's Racial Integrity Act. He claims that this act was created to reclassify Black Americans from Black Aboriginal to Negro as a form of paper genocide. The irony is that Tariq Nasheed is just parroting the pseudo-claims of his arch-enemy, Dane Calloway. Let's not forget that Dane Calloway is one of the most notorious Pretendians who continues to push his pseudo-Black Aboriginal narrative. Now let's listen to Tariq Nasheed's audio and see how laughable he really is. He is so easy to refute.
In the 1920s, William Plecker, the white man who worked at the Vital Statistics Office, he went out of his way, he was a white supremacist, he went out of his way to erase the records of Black people who were Native American. And they just reclassified everybody as Negro. This went on into the 1960s. The case with Loving versus the state of Virginia is based on the ruling that he put together. The one-drop rule was really not just for white people. The one-drop rule was to stop us from claiming our native Aboriginal status. Mildred Loving, the woman who was a part of that case, she's actually Native American. She was reclassified as Negro. So this is a piece of our history that's not told to us because we're taught that we're comparative to immigrants and foreigners, and we are not. So we have to understand this is our land.
What Tariq Nasheed doesn't realize is that Walter Plecker's Racial Integrity Act was only limited to the state of Virginia. Walter Plecker was the head of Virginia's Bureau of Vital Statistics from 1912 to 1946, which means he was just a state official with no power outside of Virginia. As a state official, Walter Plecker had no power to push his racial reclassification agenda across the United States of America. So even if these copper-colored Aboriginals actually existed, Walter Plecker had no authority to issue a nationwide reclassification on these ancient Black Aboriginals. The Virginia Racial Integrity Act of 1924 has no mention of any copper-colored Aboriginals of America or any ancient Black Americans because these racial groups never existed. The actual goal of Virginia's Racial Integrity Act was threefold: to make interracial marriages illegal, to assign a racial label for every newborn baby's birth certificate, and to classify any non-whites as colored. Again, this has nothing to do with the FBA's pseudo-version of Walter Plecker's Racial Integrity Act. The FBA and wannabe Aboriginals have made Walter Plecker their boogeyman. They just manifested another villain. Let's be honest here. The 1924 Racial Integrity Act of Virginia was created to remove the rights of Native Americans and African Americans living in the state of Virginia. State officials wanted to reclassify Black Americans into colored, as to hinder any reparations, claims, and civil rights of Black Americans in relation to slavery. The main goal of the act was to reclassify any people of Native ancestry into colored, which was a ploy to prevent any mixed bloods from enrolling into any Native American tribe of Virginia. So by reducing the size of the Native population, made it easier for the state officials to infringe on the land claims and political power of Native tribes in the state. Moreover, Walter Plecker's Racial Integrity Act did hinder the ability for any mixed person to enroll into a Native American tribe in Virginia, which made it difficult for any person with white and Native ancestry to become a new tribal citizen. This act especially affected Afro-Indigenous people who wanted to enroll into one of the Native American tribes of Virginia. However, the act did not affect any full-blooded Native Americans living on the reservations because they had a Native phenotype with documented paper trails to back up their lineage. In 1967, the Virginia Racial Integrity Act was overturned by the United States Supreme Court because it was a violation of civil rights and deemed unconstitutional. The actual Virginia Racial Integrity Act doesn't fit in with the FBA's ancient Black American narrative, which is just a ploy to falsely claim to be the first Americans. It's so obvious that these foundational Black Americans and wannabe Aboriginals are blind to what a real Native American is. That's because they are stuck in their uneducated ethnocentric spaces. These FBA and wannabe Aboriginal culture vultures often claim real Afro-Indigenous people as their evidence of ancient Black Americans. They often call mixed natives a $5 Indian. They call all full-blood Native Americans the invading Mongoloids. Tariq and several of the FBA top dogs are on record claiming that they deserve to have Native American casinos because they are the real deal who can operate a casino better than the natives, which is laughable. These racist, self-hating, and simple-minded foundational Black Americans and wannabe Aboriginals should never be taken seriously. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out other related content in the links.